Where did sin, suffering, and evil come from?
The Bible says, "He who sins is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from the beginning." 1 John 3:8. The devil was a murderer from the beginning, for he is a liar and the father of it. John 8:44. That serpent of old called the devil and Satan. Revelation 12:9.
Initially, the universe was perfect. There was no evil in the world until Lucifer chose to violate God's law and fell into sin. After the devil turned from God, he was given a new name, called the devil and Satan. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. You see, Satan is the author of murder, lies, affairs, and all forms of evil. Satan is the author of all sin, pain, and suffering. Satan started it all, and his influence has led to untold pain and heartache in the world today.
Is the devil a real literal being?
The Bible says, "Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age." Ephesians 6:11-12.
French poet Charles Baudelaire once noted, "The devil's finest trick is to persuade you that he does not exist, because those who believe are not ignorant of his devices." 2 Corinthians 2:11. In spite of the denial of many, there is plenty of evidence of this supernatural being in the invisible realm around us. There is evidence in ghost stories and supernatural phenomenon in the world, while those who have spoken to or experienced the devil and evil spirits know very well that they are literal beings and very dangerous.
Why did God create a devil? Did God make him with some kind of flaw?
The Bible says, "You were the anointed cherub who covers. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created, till iniquity was found in you." Ezekiel 28:15.
God did not create a devil. He created a perfect angel named Lucifer, but instead of creating robots who were programmed to serve him, he gave all the angels a free will. Of course, freedom comes at a cost. Satan and some of the other angels chose to rebel against God's laws and turned to a life of evil. While some argue that since God made the devil, he is responsible for the devil's crimes, that would be like saying a parent is responsible for all their children's poor decisions. Freedom to choose is not a flaw. It is a privilege.
After the devil sinned, why didn't God just immediately destroy him?
The Bible says, "Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty." Ezekiel 28:17. "You have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God." Isaiah 14:13.
While all God's creatures were created perfect, the Bible seems to imply that Lucifer was especially beautiful, perfect in beauty, and granted a special position as the anointed cherub around the throne of God. Ezekiel 28:11 and 14. Instead of his position leading to feelings of gratitude, we are told that Lucifer cherished pride within his heart. This pride soon led to dissatisfaction, and finally, a desire to even exalt himself above God.
What was the result of Satan's rebellion?
The Bible says, "The servant said to him, 'Do you want us then to go and gather them up?' But he said, 'No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them.'" Matthew 13:28-29.
Because the devil's sin started in his heart. See Isaiah 14:13. The other angels could not fully see the manifestation of evil. In its infancy, sin appears like a baby lion, cute and innocent. See James 1:14-15. Like a dog with rabies, the symptoms are delayed. So if God destroyed Lucifer, the rest of the angels wouldn't have understood. They would have rebelled and sin would have started anyway. Once sin started, God had to let good and evil grow together in hopes that we would see the effects of sin and turn away from it.
How did God finally punish the devil and his followers?
The Bible says, war broke out in heaven, Revelation 12:7. His tail drew a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth, Revelation 12:4. The angels who did not keep their proper domain. The devil's sin turned into an all-out war in heaven. This was not a war of weapons, but of words, principles, and ideology. Like a political campaign, the devil tried to convince the angels that God was treating them unfairly, rebelling against the foundation of God's government, his law. God appealed to the angels that his law was only for their benefit, but permitted the angels time to decide for themselves who they would follow. Tragically, 1/3 of the angels sided with the devil in his rebellion.
What led the devil to sin and start a rebellion?
The Bible says, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Luke 10:18. Satan was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Revelation 12:9. After all the angels had been given time to decide which side they were going to fight on, God then divided the camps, casting the devil and his followers out of heaven. Since Earth was God's newest creation, the devil and his angels brought their war to planet Earth in an attempt to lure the first humans to their side. God permitted the devil to come to Earth and test the first couple's faithfulness. And here, on planet Earth, the devil and his angels set up their new base of command.
What happened when Satan came to Earth?
The Bible says, God commanded, of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. Genesis 2:16-17. When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Genesis 3:6. Since the devil could no longer get to God, he made humans his next target. In the Garden of Eden, Satan tempted the woman to sin. While God had commanded the first couple not to eat of the deadly fruit, the devil cast doubt on God, asking, has God indeed said not to eat of the fruit? Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. He convinced Eve that following him would lead to a better life. See Genesis chapter 3, verse 5. Eve, being deceived, ate the fruit and fell into transgression. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 14. She then took the fruit to Adam and led him to sin.
What effect did the fall of Adam and Eve have on humanity?
The Bible says, therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world, and death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sinned. Romans 5:12. When Adam and Eve disobeyed God's command, their connection with him was severed. Sin changed their nature. The sinful nature was then passed down through their genes to all humanity. Everyone has been infected with the sinful nature, which leads to sin and death. See James 1:15. This deadly sin disease, like a malignant cancer cell, is destroying our characters. See Matthew 15:19. Since we are prone to sin, Satan simply stirs up our sinful heart, leading us to sin, which will result in eternal death unless we receive the remedy.
What is Satan doing now, and who is his target?
The Bible says, the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter 5:8. Woe to the earth, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath. Revelation 12:12. The devil is hunting right now. You and I are his target, and sin is the bait that he uses to trap us.
While many do not like to think about this, the Bible says the devil and his angels are walking back and forth on earth. They're in our homes, schools, and streets. Like termites, they hide beyond the realm of sight, wreaking havoc in our lives, causing all the pain and suffering in the world. Like a lion, they prowl around, waiting to attack. So it is important to remain alert to the devil's attacks and resist sin.
How successful is the devil's war against God? The Bible says, "He came to his own, and his own did not receive him." John 1:11. In the days of Noah, a few, that is 8 souls, were saved through water. 1 Peter 3:20. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. Revelation 13:3.
Satan's war is very effective. In the days of the flood, only 8 were saved. In the days of Christ, basically the entire Jewish nation rejected him. And in the final conflict, basically the whole world will follow the devil in his final antichrist deception. That's why Jesus said, "Broad is the way that leads to destruction." Matthew 7:13. In spite of this, God has made provision for all to be saved, and he still has faithful people on earth.
How does this war between good and evil end?
The Bible says, "And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. The devil, who deceived them, was cast into the lake of fire." Revelation 20:9-10. "You were the anointed cherub who covers, and shall be no more forever." Ezekiel 28:14-19.
After the final test has been given on the earth, and all have made their decision to accept or reject, God will raise the saints and take them to heaven. After that, he will raise all those who rejected his grace and destroy them, along with the devil and his angels. The universe will then finally be safe from the plague of sin. Sin and evil will finally be eradicated from earth, and they will never rise up again. See Nahum 1:9. Out of love and mercy, God continues to wait, giving us time to turn to him, while there is still time because he does not want any to perish. See 2 Peter 3:9.